it's Sarah. Good morning. I am recording the energy report for the month of September 2020 today. Now, I should also just mention that I didn't do an energy forecast for August, which is a shame, and I'm pretty gutted about that. But I think if you follow me on Instagram, you will know why. So on a personal level, September's always very action orientated for me. I think a lot of things have always tended to happen in September because it's my birthday month as well. So naturally, it's always been a month of, changes, things kicking into gear, starting to take action on things that have been brewing over the summer. And then that does pan out a little bit wider as well with other people who maybe aren't September babies. There are people out there who weren't born in September. But that kind of feeling that we've had over the summer, usually it's like a couple of months, isn't it, over summer, and then you come back in September kind of refreshed and renewed and ready to maybe take action on things that have been percolating or ideas that have been growing over the summer period. Now, this year is obviously a little bit different, so it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag, I think, practically in terms of where you're at and how much you can get going with things and ideas that have been percolating. But I think for those of us who are feeling that kind of pull of inspired action and we're ready to either create something, get something out there into the world, or take something further, start business, make a change, then the conditions in September are going to be conducive for us to do that. They were in August, but not to quite as an active degree. I think maybe practical things are now stepping in to help us with that, rather than August, where it was more on a kind of energetic level first, really. So as I want to call it a creative playing field, as the creative playing field really opens up to us in September, then it can come back to us to work out how we're going to kind of play the game on the field. Sometimes where we get this open space, this opportunity to create on whatever level it is, it can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if we take it on a real personal level. So if you've studied anything about like the law of attraction, and that's something I've studied in the past and got on an intellectual level, but it's been more in recent weeks and months that I'm getting it on a practical level. So yeah, when we've got this open space of creation, it can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming if we think thoughts like we've got to do everything ourselves. We have ideas and we see somebody else is doing the same thing or something similar, and we think, well, that was my idea. Or we feel like I've got to figure out what my purpose is and get going with it now, because I feel this pull of creative energy, and I know I need to get going, but I don't know what direction I'm going in. It's certainly not out of our hands, but we are more being guided, and we are kind of channeling the information, the creativity, the ideas. So again, and going back to the law of attraction, if you have studied that a little bit, then you will know that, we have a plethora of thoughts flying around, and we ultimately have the choice whether or what thoughts we grab, what thoughts we take down into our brains, through our conscious and into our subconscious, and which then the thoughts can become ideas. So, for example, if I have an idea to start a business and somebody then pops up in my reality somewhere that is doing something very similar, and I think, oh, that was, I had that idea, I wanted to do that, and now someone else is doing it. But was it my idea, or was it the thoughts that I was grabbing and taking down and making that idea? And if so, then where did the thoughts come from? Did they come from myself, my ego, or did they come from somewhere else? Whatever you want to believe, whatever religion you have, it's all kind of the same thing. But if we are taking those ideas, those thoughts, and we are making them into our ideas, then it doesn't really matter if somebody else is naturally, inevitably going to have the same idea at some point, because they're taking those thoughts as well. And also, if you think about this concept of us choosing the thoughts that we take and taking them into the ideas, making them into ideas, and then often, with our ideas, we then take the idea and make it take action. Hopefully we take action of some degree, and then that manifests into the real world, into the physical world. And if you look at it like that, it's like we are constantly creating. We are creative beings. We're creating all the time. So it's a bit off topic there for this video, but I think that is a process that is really useful to wrap your head around this September now, where we are feeling that pull to take that action that is maybe from the idea to starting to come into the physical. Things are starting to manifest into the physical. So if we remember that whole process, and also try and get our ego out of the way a little bit, which is another fun life-changing, life-going-on task to do. If we can get our ego out of the way a little bit, then we can let the thoughts and then ultimately the ideas flow through us and really start to take inspired action. I think for those of us who are really committed to almost taking our lives and altering the angle of perception of how we see everything, and that does take work, and it is a long ongoing learning process, but I think for those of us who are committed to do that, then this can be quite a pivotal month in this year for starting to see changes in relation to that. I also feel, finally, I wanted to say one more thing about September, is that although I know in the northern hemisphere here it's like getting to autumn now and it's naturally a time of winding in, going within, but I think because of the situations this year, we are, we're looking for more connection, more authentic, valuable connection, and I think September is a month where we can, really start to bring that into focus as well. And to find really authentic connection is where we have to start to learn to really get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and particularly the word I'm thinking about is vulnerability. So about finding the connection with those sort of people that you can be vulnerable with, people it is safe to be vulnerable and authentic with, and gravitating towards those people, finding your community and sharing stories even, because a lot of healing has and is taking place this year, and sharing stories is personally something I've found as well that has been very healing and can really, help us when we are feeling vulnerable. If we find them people we can be safe with, and vulnerable with safely, then we can share our stories and ultimately all help each other as a community or as a group of people to heal. And it's basically like that phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats. So I think that's all I wanted to say for September. I've still got toddlers in the other room as well, so I'm conscious not to go on for too long, but that was the main theme for September, and I'm gonna hopefully be putting out a bit more content in the next few weeks as everybody goes back to school, back to nursery and whatnot, so I'm going to have a bit more time to get some content out and hopefully some more stuff on law of attraction. If that's what you're interested in, please subscribe. If you want to get notified when I do these monthly energy forecasts, then please subscribe and you can catch up with those. Also, I send them out to my email list as well. Otherwise, I will catch you for the next energy forecast.